Hello and welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Before we begin, I hope that you consider joining me on YouTube and on Rumble, and follow me on Substack where you will find more weekly content. Those of you who live here in the United States are going to want to know the latest news announced by the Internal Revenue Service. You may remember that a couple of years ago, thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act passed by the Biden administration, the Internal Revenue Service received billions in new funding to hire 87,000 new agents and to acquire new technologies. The Inflation Reduction Act added $80 billion in funding to the agency, and reportedly, the IRS is now using AI to assist with identifying those taxpayers who are evading taxes and who need to be audited. Well, in its latest announcement, the Internal Revenue Service shared its plans to hire 3,700 auditors who are earning about $125,000 per year to assist the agency with cracking down on high earners. You just can't make this up. As the United States government spending is completely out of control, the economy is at its worst point in a couple of decades at least, the IRS wants to spend more than $460 million in payroll alone for new agents to audit more. According to the press release, these new positions will be open in more than 250 locations and will help ramp up the IRS compliance efforts against high-income earners, partnerships, large corporations, and promoters. I know you're going to love this verbiage. The press release clarifies these compliance positions will be open in more than 250 locations nationwide and is part of a larger effort to add fairness to the tax system and to expand tax enforcement. Then it further claims that these new employees will be focused on higher income and complex tax areas like partnerships, not average taxpayers who make less than $400,000 per year. Now, I have to note that this is not in line with the research and opinion of a nonpartisan Joint Committee on Taxation. The group claims that the new plan will actually ramp up targeting of small business owners. They estimated that up to 80% of the additional $200 billion that the IRS plans to collect as the result of these additional audits, so up to 80% of this new revenue for the IRS will come from small businesses that make less than $200,000 every single year. So small mom and pop shops, get ready for those IRS audit notices in your mail or even someone showing up at your doorstep. According to Joint Committee on Taxation, just 4 to 9% of the revenue collected by the IRS would come from businesses making more than $500,000 a year. They point to the obvious fact that the legislation is in sharp contrast to claims that Biden wouldn't raise taxes on anyone making less than $400,000. The executive vice president at National Taxpayer Union Foundation, Joe Hinchman, said, "The IRS will have to target small and medium businesses because they won't fight back. We've seen this play out before. The IRS says we're going after the rich, but when you're trying to raise that much money, the rich can only get you so far." So the poor cannot fight back, right? You can't argue with that logic. As you know, the IRS has been expanding for a couple of years now. Back in August, the IRS Commissioner Danny Werfel said the IRS was approaching a new historic milestone of increasing its workforce to 90,000 full-time equivalent employees. As you know, the United States government has been operating at a significant deficit every single month, and there have been calls to make budget cuts. Specifically, there have been several Republican lawmakers who said they are in favor of cutting the IRS annual budget. Well, Werfel is of a different opinion. The IRS commissioner is pressing Congress not to give in to such initiatives and to provide additional funding to the IRS. The hiring is part of the plan according to the Inflation Reduction Act. Earlier this year, the IRS said that it plans to add 20,000 more agents to its payroll within the next 2 years. These new agents will focus on tax collection, so tax enforcement efforts, in other words, as well as customer service. The tax agency did say that it would use about $8.5 billion of the new funding during the 2023 and 2024 fiscal years, and that 7,200 of these new hires would be enforcement staff. Here's fun fact. Earlier this year, Deputy Treasury Secretary Wally Adeyemo said the IRS is going to hire more data scientists than they ever have for enforcement purposes. So enforcement becomes one of its main efforts from now on. It is clear that as the government spending is increasing, just look at how much the government pays now every single month to service its own debt. The government needs to increase tax receipts to fund at least a portion of its spending, and this is their plan. Now, if you're a small business owner, you need to know that it is important for your small business to be a separate business legal entity. It takes about 15 minutes to set up a limited liability company using one of our channel sponsors, InkFile. I know many business owners who have been using InkFile and are very pleased, they're very satisfied with the customer service that they receive and the products that InkFile offers. InkFile is one of the most affordable online incorporation services. It is extremely reliable and they offer a variety of great features that are useful when you start a business. Today, I'm happy to share a great offer with my subscribers. Use the InkFile link that I shared below, register your LLC, and you will receive an entire year of registered agent service for free, completely free of charge. I think it is a great value, and if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below. I will be happy to point you in the right direction. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope that this information was helpful. If that's the case, give this video a like and consider sharing it with your friends and family. Subscribe to my channels on Rumble and YouTube. I would love to have you back for my next video tomorrow. And if you enjoy reading, find me on Substack, where, among other types of content, you will find a weekly newsletter with the key events and key economic data that will help you stay up to date on the most important news. And I will see you in my new one tomorrow. Bye for now.